Good afternoon, guys. It's Saturday afternoon. Are you well? I hope you're well. I'm well. What a game yesterday. Maybe not in terms of our performance levels, because I know that we can step it up a notch, but wasn't it good to get one over our South Coast rivals at St Mary's? 3-1 to Bournemouth. Cracking result. And afterwards we asked for your 5-word match reports on Twitter, and you may have seen that I accompanied it with a video that I just happened to be taking of the Rico corner, which Ake nodded in. Ramsdale celebrations there, one to watch. Check out that tweet. Anyway, this is what you thought of the game in 5 words. Jake, Cherries win despite VAR bollocks. Finally a win in Southampton, says Nathan. So good, Mum got pissed. That's my sister Kerry. Oh, embarrassing. I'm glad I wasn't there for that. Patrick, I guess it's not a derby. Steve, Nathan, Harry and Callum score. Succinct, I like it. Simon, Eddie is the real saint. DJ Mischief, the South Coast is ours. And also Absolute Limbs as Bournemouth won. I got Boscombe on the brain. Danny Beale, magical night at St Mary's. Have that, you poxy scummers, says Gary Chapman. Ake and double Wilsons. Lovely, says Danny. Ashley, apparently they're not really bothered. James, my head really hurts. I'll skip through the names, but just go through some of your comments now. Even Ramsdale got an assist. Wish I'd watched it live. I thought we were going to win all day. Bit more than 5, Andrew, but it's fine. I'll forgive you. AFCB Rob, AFCB piss spoiler alert for SAINTSFC. Great celebrations, limbs absolutely everywhere. AFCB wiping those stains away. Ed's the best stains remover. You should be marketing manager, Rob. Superb. Clinical Cherries stunned the Saints. We beat a small team, said Tim. The South Coast is ours. I'll give you 2 words. Fuck yeah, Stephen. The Chetwyns have gone quiet. Oh, family issues there, Lucy. Ross Devonport, holding on for dear Callum. Little brother bites your ass. Winning, not at our best, and Paul, I'll be touching on that a bit later on. Tom Latcham, never thought we would lose. Coco, can't believe I slept through, but lucky shirt still worked, and look at that shirt, a thing of beauty. Mark Jackson, I thought they didn't care. Mother of all hangovers incoming. Yeah, tell me about it. It's taken me a while to get to do this video. James, Bournemouth win match 3-1. Succinct. The pride of the South. Loved every minute of it. 3-1, mind the gap. Cherries march on over Southampton. When the Saints go championship, it could happen based on how they were playing yesterday. It was awful. Cherries did enough. Saints pedestrian, says the boy Latch, or Tom Latch as he's now known on Twitter. Aaron Ramsdale, England's number 1. VAR can fuck off. Shite. Yeah. Ugh, don't get me started on that. We scored more than them. That's how it works. Like it. That was easy peasy lemon squeezy. Was there a fire drill? And look at that. There's no one there. Ian Garrard, the South Coast is ours. Typical, the telly didn't work. Not at all surprised by this. Michelle, unfortunate. And then Anthony, Hasenhüttl has tactical brain fart, and I think that last one is actually from a Saints fan there, so thank you for getting in touch. And yeah, it wasn't particularly great, I've got to say, on your part, but I think that was also down to how AFC Bournemouth prevented you from playing. I was really chuffed to bits with the win. Of course, the second half performance was shaky, and then there were also shady VAR issues as well, but I'll certainly get onto that. Chatting to a number of people outside the stadium. Really great to do more fans interviews, and if you haven't seen them, check the previous videos on this channel. And can I just also ask at the moment if you could subscribe to this and you enjoy the content. It would be just really nice if you can subscribe at this point. There's a button below, hit that, and there's also a notification bell icon as well. Every time we do a video, you'll get informed of when it's uploaded. It just helps us to know that the content's being liked, and if you want us to do more of it and more fans interviews, then we will comply and we will do it. So yeah, I chatted to a number of people. It was about 6 or 7, even a couple of people on the train yesterday as well, and everyone was absolutely buzzing. And it is a mixture of, having an away win under the lights, being 3rd in the Premier League, but also getting one over our neighbours. We may be the noisy neighbours for them. However, there's been over the last few seasons there has been a momentum shift, but it's never been quite realised. Yes, we did beat them 2-0 at home on that televised BT Sport game. I think that was Steve Cook and Benik Afobe that scored the goals, but we've always seemed to buckle at St Mary's. It's like this kind of complex that we've got when we play certain teams, and that includes, say, Man City, Liverpool at home. Apart from that game, we show teams a lot of respect. And quite often we've underperformed at St Mary's because it's almost like we're scared. But mentally, we were much better and much more on it. In that first half, I thought it was a really incredible performance. So everyone's going home very happy. And I know that Saints fans don't call it a rivalry. And yes, you've got your second, third place playoff on Tuesday in the Carabao Cup. Good luck with that one. Portsmouth, you know, you've probably got a chance based on how they're performing. But, you know, for us, it's a derby. Geographically, it's a derby. I've said this before. Dictionary definition wise, there's absolutely no doubt about that, of course. However, rivalry, yeah, maybe it just is on our part. But you know what? We don't care. Everyone's our rivals. We turned Watford into rivals after some petty Twitter spats, and that was obviously after we won the championship. Thank you, Adtine Nuihu. What a goal that was. Great days. So yeah, it's a perfect start to the weekend, and it's amazing how much of a psychological game changer, literally, it actually is. If we had lost that, we would have been going into today thinking, oh my goodness, you know, I'm not going to enjoy watching any football. We've got this kind of match of the day. We'll probably be on last because it was yesterday's game, and it's just a horrible weekend, and it's honestly, you know, the serotonin levels just get pumped when we win. And not only that, it's our quite lofty position in the Premier League that's obviously not going to last, and in fact by the time this video comes out we're likely to be I think Leicester are actually winning 2-1 at the moment. I don't know if that's the case, but so there are teams that are going to be going above us. However, this is a momentum thing for AFC Bournemouth at the moment, and what's great, as I think it was Paul said on the on the 5-word match report, that we're not even hitting our highest levels and we go and beat Saints 3-1. As Eddie Howe said on the Sky Sports interview, we were at about 60%, and I agree with that. I mean, the first half was pretty good, but I don't think we were that kind of, you know, attacking threat like when we've been at Watford and Brighton and places like that and scored a hatful of goals. We've been incredible with like lots of counter-attacking players running forward, and it just is this incredible sort of wave of attack, you know. And Josh King and Callum Wilson, like, always instrumental, but it wasn't that yesterday. It was just more of a sort of measured performance, and it was probably down to the team formation that sort of made it happen, because I mean some of it picked itself, of course. Ramsdale, the defence, pretty much it all depended whether Adam Smith was back. He wasn't. Stacey, and then Rico, and then we all thought that Fraser was going to start. Now Fraser, of course, provides that natural ability to bomb forward. Harry Wilson less so. However, his ball retention, Harry Wilson, if you notice, is actually not bad at all. So with Billing and Lerma in the middle, again a little bit of a surprise, but Lewis Cook's got that creativity to come off from the bench and, you know, change games and affect games. And then on the other side you have Josh King. Granted, it's not his favourite position. Talking to Kelly Cates after the game on the TV, he said, you know, I would rather play up front, but I'm a team player, and very humble of him to be like that, because you sort of wonder with Josh King, you know, is he, you know, there are a lot of players that are out for themselves and can sulk if they're not picked, as we're Begovic, but he has just been incredible down that left side. And, you know, for me, he's been my player of the last couple of games. And then you've got Callum and Solanke up front. Solanke, I'm willing him to score a goal, but his general hold-up play has been pretty decent. And, you know, I would be starting him again at West Ham, you know, of course, injuries permitting. Standout player in the first half, though, Rigo. Love the fact that we're getting behind him. Diego, and again, another amazing delivery. And it's wonderful now that we can mix up these short corners with decent corner delivery, because for a number of seasons at the start of our Premier League campaign, and before that in the Championship, of course, we did those short corners. Obviously, it's all about ball retention and trying to beat the press, drag defenders out, creating space in the middle, and then eventually getting the ball in and hopefully scoring. Steve Cook's goal at Villa was a prime example of that, where Richie and Francis combined, pulling the defenders out. You got 2 less defenders in the box at that point, and then Steve Cook got ahead of his marker. So it's really amazing to see that we can now do both. Now, we had a little microcosm of that moment in the Everton game where we tried a short corner, it didn't work, and then we got a decent delivery in from Rico. And what a left foot he's got. I've said all along that whilst his positional sense may not be great, his delivery is superb. And again, onto the head of Nathan Ake, absolutely superb. And I notice that, Ake, amazingly strong. It was very similar to how England, it felt like England in the World Cup. Just from set pieces, you think they're a danger. Free kicks, we'll put Harry Wilson on it. Corners, Diego. And oh my goodness, towering header. And Bournemouth go 1-0 up. So we were absolutely jubilant. The Saints, who at that point were singing their one song. Did they sing about "We want our money back"? I didn't hear that yesterday, and I think I might have heard the "Will I be Pompey, Will I be Saints." But they need to have a fans forum and get some more songs going, because it's a little bit boring, I've got to say. But yeah, that quietened them up, and then we were absolutely delighted to see that Nathan Ake put us 1-0 up. But Rico's positional sense throughout the whole game was really good, I thought, and he was getting forward. When I've seen him previously, he's been in the wrong positions. His kind of last minute passes where he's under pressure has been poor. But he's been finding his man, and he's been moving forward, and he was integral with our second goal as well. But let's not go too far forward, because obviously it was a cracking move that Solanke again won the ball in the middle part, and he's not afraid to run forward. I mean, he's getting criticised by other fans, but I'm really happy with him. Similar way to Shea Adams as well for Southampton, is not getting any stick from their supporters, but he's integral to like a lot of their sort of movements and a few of their goals as well in terms of assists, and that was nearly an assist for Solanke. Josh King slightly mistimed his run, or was it a slightly late pass, but gotta say, fantastic finish. John Willow doing the silent commentary. If you look at the extended highlights, you can see that there. That's from AFCB TV. He's kind of saying, oh no, I don't think that's offside. He was offside. Stop being so optimistic, Willow. We love you to bits, but it was offside. And whether it's an ankle or not, it's 6 centimetres, whatever. You can't be on your radio commentary saying that it's not offside, because I grant, I bet the other way round, you'll be saying, well, it was the right decision. So, be realistic. But cracking finish from Josh King. At the time, I didn't think there was going to be any issue at all, but VAR came in, got the decision fairly quickly, and it was the right one. But thankfully, psychologically, it didn't affect the way we played as a side. We were so strong at the back. Saints did have their chances, but Steve Cook, I've got to say, absolutely phenomenal game, apart from the penalty that he gave away, but we'll come on to that. Nathan Ake, again, like a rock, and Jack Stacey, again, fairly solid. A few wayward passes, but nothing, nothing of note. And he's got forward as well, so he's doing what Eddie Howe wants, the defenders to do. Not necessarily in that formation, but he combined well with Harry Wilson. Got a few crosses in at times, and an incredible block towards the end of the game there as well. Absolutely phenomenal. But then, the second goal came in, and it's been featured on Sky Sports, and good one. I think there was about 8 or 9 passes. Rico again was involved. Philip Billing, wonderful. He was set on his way by Rico, and then that pull back for Harry Wilson, who just ghosted in, left foot, very composed finish. And for all I've been saying, like, Harry Wilson, he's only good at set pieces and stuff. When you've got a composed finisher like that, you're kind of thinking, maybe Eddie's right. He's obviously saying that's something I'm not. It was granted the correct decision, Eddie. Wonderful finish. And really weird watching the highlights back from both the World feed and Sky Sports, because for both our goals, it's a very like muted commentary. I don't know if they've had to adjust the audio levels or something, but it was like the commentator just wasn't wasn't overly fussed or excited, and it was a shame really, because it needed a good sort of commentator to. Thankfully, Chris Temple did the did the job on the highlights for Radio Solent. They're on AFCB TV. But yeah, it was that quiet in St Mary's down again. Oh my goodness. So yeah, to come in at 2-0 was superb. Now, Saints, of course, had their chances, but there was nothing really of note. When Ramsdale was called upon, he delivered, and he was exceptional again. There was a moment where his distribution wasn't the best in the first half, and he tried to sort of play it out like we do, trying to beat the press. And it's so clear that teams are. This is like the in thing. Of course, it's a Pep Guardiola, Jurgen Klopp thing. However, we're obviously playing out from the back to draw the strikers and the midfielders to some extent forward, so that we can then exploit the gaps that are appearing between the defence and the midfield of the opposition. And technically gifted midfielders like we've got with Philip Billing and Jefferson Lerma, and then you've got the attacking edge of King on one side, and then Wilson, not so much bombing forward but just the technical ability. You can see how he can be so effective. And unfortunately, Saints defenders had a little bit of a mare for them yesterday, not least with the last goal, but yeah, Ramsdale was solid. Just that, one moment, and they did have another couple of chances, but it wasn't anything that we really were heart in mouth moments, not your kind of Shane Long hitting the post moments. Josh King could have even made it 3 when he blazed over. He cut inside on his right foot, solid strike. And unfortunately, that didn't go for us. But it's just, we were creating and carving out chances in the space that we manufacture by our movement. Check out the movement off the ball. When you're watching the highlights, don't look at the person on the ball, look at everyone else. And the way we're creating space is amazing, and Saints just do not know where to go. The defending for Harry Wilson's goal was absolutely appalling. But as I say, I don't think it was a case of Saints being poor yesterday. I think we made them poor. But second half we came out not good. Paul Brown on the fans interview, ding, you can see it, chatted on the train on the way back, and he said the second half was pretty poor really, and I think it was. We kind of let Saints in, and then they did get that penalty. And it was a penalty. Unfortunately, this is the way the Premier League is going. Callum Wilson did the same thing against Aston Villa. There was no chance that when Callum just got a foot on the ball, he was never going to keep it in play. But the fact that he was taken out, didn't matter. Now, the touch was really poor, but Steve Cook went in, brought it down, and it was a penalty. At the time, I thought, no way, it's not. But it was. Ward-Prowse steps up, puts it in the back of the net, and everyone's thinking the same thing. Here we go. Saints are going to come back, and the amount of possession they've got. I'm just looking at the stats now. 65% possession. I swear most of that was probably in the second half. It's weird when you look at the stats, because you think that can't be right. They had 25 shots. Again, I think most in the second half. Ramsdale, always was standing up and saving, strong palms out, palming it wide. There was one little issue where Cook had to help him out and clear, but other than that, we were pretty good really. Saints had 6 shots on target, 4 corners, and 8 fouls. Not that stat is really relevant to anything, but yeah, they were putting the pressure on. But thankfully, we stood firm. But the way Bournemouth usually do it is that we do have these moments where we have to soak up pressure and then counter-attack. That was not looking like it was happening, and we just weren't retaining the ball as well. My thought was to bring on Lewis Cook for Dom Solanke. It did happen, but it happened really late. Too late, in my opinion. And then you have a couple of VAR incidents. Of course, it was just the one. Josh King had the first one, the first half, but he was involved in the second half, where he went through, drew the foul, and that's a phrase in football these days, drawing a foul, which is a shame, but that's just the way it is. You can just draw fouls these days and just put your body in certain places, and it scares defenders shitless. It completely does, and they're afraid to go in. But you can see the thigh of that defender. I'm not too sure who it was, but he takes him out really, and he just completely imbalances him. He couldn't get the shot away, and no penalty with the VAR check, and the VAR is checking for any clear and obvious, errors from the referee, which I find bizarre. Either it's a penalty or it isn't. I've moaned about VAR before on this channel. Search Back of the Net VAR rant or whatever, it'll be there. I get so, surely just review the actual incident, not your kind of like reviewing the mentality of the referee. Like, oh, you know what, that penalty, it was kind of touch and go, but yes, it was a penalty, but because it's not a clear and obvious error from the ref, then we're not going to give a penalty. So you're acknowledging that it is a penalty, but you're not going to give it because it's one of those penalties that's like 75-25. Like, just give the decision based on what's happened, and that would have put us 3-1 up. And then, the onslaught happened, and yes, there were whistles from the Bournemouth end. So, Southampton fans might be saying it's a bit embarrassing. We needed the points. It's not because it was you. We'd be whistling whoever the hell we're playing. Thankfully, though, the sort of calamitous performance from Saints was in that moment on the 94th minute. I didn't actually realise it was as late in the game as well. I thought it was like 92 or 93. But yeah, defensive calamity, and Callum Wilson stepped in and just notched it home, and absolute delirium. Was so pleased, and then the celebrations and the photos that came out afterwards, absolutely superb. And at that point, I then bombed downstairs and waited outside. We had that lad who said there's only one South Coast derby, etc, etc. Good to know you're not bothered about it, mate. Good to know you're not bothered by interrupting our videos twice. We cut a little bit of it out, as I say. However, just going away, beaming, few G&Ts on the way back, and it's the momentum more than anything. Win last week, win today, a winnable few games ahead. Okay, maybe not Arsenal, but we're going into the West Ham game full of confidence now, and you're kind of thinking, right, where can we go with this? So that's been my take on it, and those have been your match reports as well. Just want to say again, thank you for all the support for the channel. Do subscribe and like the video if you found it helpful. Now, myself and Jeff are going to be wrapping up this game again on the podcast, getting his view, your views on the phone. So you've got till basically Sunday night. I play 6-a-side at Broadstone on a Sunday night indoors. I love a bit of that, and then I come back and put it all together. So you've got until basically 8:30 on a Sunday night, so you can give us a call. The phone number is 01202 90 10 48. I don't answer, it's fine, it's just an automated voicemail that emails your opinions. We've had a few through already. You can WhatsApp, go to our Twitter bio, the link for our Twitter is in the description of this video, and send us a WhatsApp, just a voice note, hold it down. Alternatively, record your voice note in advance and just email it through to us if you want, to fans@afcbpodcast.com. It's going to be a really good listen this week. Really excited to hear all your views on the show. Chatting to Cherries fan Keith Brewer before the game in Yates, lovely fella. Spoke to him a couple of times before, but he provided a decent question stroke idea for the do you remember question this week as well. So yeah, also there's another Cherries podcast as well, and we're all for, we don't want to be like not advertising anyone else. It's actually a very good listen. It's called the Up the Cherries podcast as well. If you scroll back through our Twitter feed, you can have a listen to that. They're sort of meeting up once every month, chatting around a table, talking all things Bournemouth. Yeah, so do check that out as well. It's good to see there's more media stuff happening with Back of the Net podcast, YouTube channel, them, like Instagram accounts with thousands of views and stuff. I'm really liking the way this is going. It makes us look a little bit less tin pot. So get your opinions in. Can't wait to chat to Jeff. And now I'm just really excited about West Ham next week. But before that, of course, we've got the League Cup to worry about. Burton away again. I don't really care which team players are going to be fielded. Maybe Frano could come back, maybe Lloyd Kelly could be back in. Either way, we'll be putting out a strong side and hoping that we can carry on our good form in that competition. It's one that is winnable, but so excited. I'm just going to lie back now and just enjoy this weekend. Come on, gonna love match of the day tonight. Really excited. Until then, see you in the next video. Up the Cherries.